All right, so now we're going to add some of the points we've created in the last two exercises. We're going to add them to be historical values. So we'll do that. First, the actual flow meter itself, we'll have to go to where that variable is defined. Now, I don't like doing what a lot of the OEMs and the EPCs do, which is they just take the input points and add them as historical, because the input point on the hardware isn't what's going to be showing up on the HMI. What shows up on the HMI is typically what comes out of your AI. So the AI point, we're going to come into the AI block and we're going to find the point that we're using. And in the detail view, we're going to scroll down till we get to logging. And here is where we can tell it the historian deadband. And we want it to log on every one SCFM based on engineering units. Now you can also make this percent of range, but for me, I always do engineering units because I think I want it to log every change of 1 standard cubic feet a minute. Now, when you put anything to be used for historian, you have to make sure that it's on EGD. And this one is on the default EGD page. Now, this default value is created by the AI block itself. Because you'll see when we come to another point, which I want to have the current day and the prior day. I want to register the prior day in historian. So I'm going to select it, go to my where used, and go to the definition. And here you'll see it's not on the EGD. So I need to add it to the EGD. And then come here, and I do want to have a historian deadband of 1. Now what's really going to happen here is, since this is a prior to a calculation, it's going to register it once when it sees the value, and then every 24 hours as the value changes, it's going to see that change and then register it again if it's more than 1 standard cubic foot a day different. And then I also want to be engineering units. Now, if I didn't require the prior day to be added to EGD, for example, if it had already been on EGD, I could do a build without having to download a controller to use. The historian deadband is for the workstation that is functioning as the historian to use. So when I build, that is published to the EGD server, and the flag on that says it's historical. Then the workstation that is configured with Pi or the G historian will catch that flag, change its configuration to update it to start historically collecting that data. And in that way, that data will now be available historically. That means that when you right click on the screen and add it to trend, or if you're using a different tool to add it to trend, it'll backfill. So the final step is, since we did make some changes, we have to build. Now I've got 0 errors and 0 warnings. We will download it. It should only be the application code. We want to make sure it's not asking for anything else. We're going to go to our status and watch it. And now we're done. Just to demonstrate what I was talking about, where if it's already on EGD, you don't have to download. I'll come to the current day. I'll tell it that I want to add that historian deadband. And we're going to do that as 1 standard cubic foot a day. We're going to come back here and build. So we got no warnings, no errors. This time when we go to download, you'll notice it does not want to download the application code. So there's no need to download. It won't let us download. So the only option we have is to cancel. And that is because the only thing we changed on that variable is not important to the controller itself, which is Historian. And we're actually just going to take that out to not logged. We'll build it again. And we'll download. And we'll see, once again, it does not care. It doesn't want to download anything. However, it did publish it, so those will be available to the Historian. And that covers how to add these points to Historian through the component.